The story begins with a wealthy father and his two sons, focusing initially on the younger brother who demands his share of the family inheritance ahead of time. In first-century Jewish culture, asking for an inheritance early was essentially telling a parent that you wished they were dead. The father surprisingly grants the request, and the reckless young man quickly departs for a distant country. There, he wastes his entire fortune on wild, extravagant living, only to find himself completely destitute when a severe famine hits the land. Reduced to feeding pigs, a deeply humiliating and unclean job for a Jewish person, he hits rock bottom and realizes that even his father's hired servants live better than he does. Driven by desperation and a shattered ego, the young man rehearses a humble apology, planning to beg his father to take him back not as a son, but as a lowly servant. He starts the long journey home, physically broken and covered in the filth of the pigpen. However, the true climax of the narrative occurs while the son is still a great distance away. The father catches sight of him, is instantly overcome with deep compassion, and does something radical for a patriarch of that era. He throws dignity aside, runs down the road, throws his arms around his neck, and kisses him. Before the boy can even finish his rehearsed apology, the father calls for the best robe, a ring for his finger, and commands a massive feast to celebrate the return of the child he thought was dead. The narrative then shifts its focus to the older brother, who has remained loyal and worked diligently in the fields the entire time. Returning to the house to hear the sounds of music and dancing, he becomes deeply bitter and refuses to join the party. When his father comes outside to plead with him, the older son angrily points out that he has slaved away for years without ever breaking a rule, yet he was never even given a young goat to celebrate with his friends. The father responds with gentle tenderness, reminding the angry brother that everything the family owns is already his, but explains that celebration is necessary because his lost brother has finally been found. Centuries later, this parable continues to resonate deeply because it functions as a multi-layered mirror for human behavior and divine grace. In Christian theology, the waiting father represents God, whose love is completely unconditional and eager to forgive, breaking cultural norms to run toward anyone who turns back home. Meanwhile, the two sons represent two distinct human pitfalls. The younger son embodies overt rebellion and the pursuit of worldly pleasure, while the older son exposes the subtle dangers of self-righteousness, legalism, and a cold heart. By leaving the story open-ended without revealing whether the older brother ever joins the feast, Jesus invites everyone to evaluate their own willingness to extend grace to others.